This past week was a full one. I had a market in Geneva. I finished up a bunch of pieces for my fall and winter collection that are now heading into a bisque firing. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, I came down with a pretty gnarly cold. It has been the kind of cold that's taken over everything. And of course it hit right when I felt like I was finally building momentum. But sometimes our bodies say slow down before our minds are ready to. I found myself back in market prep mode, grabbing all of my totes, organizing supplies, and packing up all of my jewelry and pottery to get everything ready for the Geneva French Market in Geneva, Illinois. It felt like I had just done this because I did last weekend. But luckily my trusty wagon makes things a little bit easier, and thankfully I did not have to bring a tent for this market since the canopies are provided, so that was a huge win. Geneva is one of my favorite towns in this area. It has this really peaceful, walkable downtown with little shops, trees everywhere, and people are always out strolling, grabbing coffee, wandering into boutiques, and just moving at a slower pace. The river runs right through Geneva, which adds to the whole vibe. I've come here a few times this summer for little solo day dates with myself to buy fruit at the market, wander around town, and just daydream for a bit. So being a part of the market felt kind of surreal, like I still get to be surrounded by all that good energy just from the other side of the table. Setting up is always a little frantic, but I eased into it and I got all of my displays out and I began lining up my jewelry and my pottery, and tweaked it along the way as I always do. I bought this little letterboard sign as an impulse buy, and I really love it. However, I totally didn't realize that the I fell off, so it looks like I don't know how to spell the word porcelain. Luckily, I was a little ahead of schedule, and I had a few moments to chat with my neighboring booths, which was really nice. It's always comforting to check in with the people around you before the day kicks off. It just kind of sets the tone for the day ahead. The Geneva French Market is tucked alongside the train tracks, and it brings out a really nice crowd of curious souls. People who take the time to ask questions, to look closely, and to have conversations. You can tell they're not there just to pass through, they want to really experience it, and they seem to really appreciate handmade work. I love talking about my craft and explaining how it's made. People are often surprised to learn that my jewelry is made out of ceramic, the same material as a mug. It's a little less common because of all the equipment needed to make ceramic jewelry, including a kiln. I love explaining how I use porcelain clay and I often stain it, and how it goes through multiple firings before it ends up on the table. I add 22 karat gold luster to most of my jewelry, so it adds a little something special too, and that slow transformation and process is so worth it in the end. There's a quote I heard recently that's been sticking with me: effort has value. And maybe that sounds kind of obvious, but in a world where so many things are fast and mass-produced and kind of anonymous, there's something powerful about meeting the person who actually made the thing you're holding or wearing. Even if it's imperfect, maybe especially if it's imperfect, it reminds people, myself included, that effort matters, that time and process matters. And I think maybe we're all starting to crave that more again. I took that reminder with me into the studio this past week too. I've been making more of my signature bar earrings for my upcoming fall and winter collection. They've definitely become my best seller over the past year, at markets, online, and honestly, they've become one of my favorite pieces to wear myself. I reach for them multiple times a week without even thinking about it. And leading up to this collection, I kept feeling like I had to create something totally new, a different shape, a totally new idea, because I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself to reinvent the wheel. But honestly, I didn't feel like forcing something. I just wanted to make the thing I already loved making and let it evolve in small ways. So that's what I've been doing with this latest batch of bar earrings. It's the same shape, but in some new stained porcelain colors that I mixed up for fall and winter. I'll be experimenting with layering some fun glazes on them too and seeing how they respond to the clay body. And then of course I'll add my 22 karat gold luster to the pieces to give them that extra bit of shine. Each pair of these bar earrings is shaped by hand, smoothed out, refined, and fired multiple times in the kiln. Nothing about the process is rushed. Even though I've made this shape dozens of times, there's beauty in finding ways to keep it fresh. And I've realized there's effort in that choice too, in deciding to keep making the pieces I love on purpose. That can be just as creative as chasing something entirely new. Getting sick this week hit harder than I expected, but I did try to find a moment to rest and make my favorite soup. It's a homemade chicken soup from the Ambitious Kitchen cookbook. It's loaded with turmeric, ginger, herbs, and a ton of vegetables. It's really cozy and nourishing, and I always come back to it in the fall or whenever I'm feeling a bit under the weather. To be honest, life has been a lot lately, and this cold showed up right in the middle of a triple header month for markets, while I've also been trying to finish my fall and winter collection, stay consistent with sharing stories on YouTube, get a head start on logistics for my upcoming podcast, and prepare for teaching some classes soon. And all of this is on top of my full-time demanding corporate job. So my free time, if you could call it that, is basically gone right now, and everything's just kind of stacked. Even though I'm so excited about all of these things, it's still a lot to carry when it hits all at once. I'm gonna try and be more mindful of that going forward. I get really lit up by ideas and momentum, and I want to say yes to everything, but I also want to leave space to actually enjoy it and to breathe along the way. Rest wasn't really optional this week. I probably could have done a better job of it, but making the time to make this soup, sitting down to watch some TV with my husband, and just resting for a little while definitely helped. I'm in a season where I'm taking my business really seriously, and honestly, I'm having a blast, but it is a lot of work, and I'm doing it all on my own. So when I get sick or need to slow down, there's no one to hand things off to right now. I still have to keep things moving. It reminded me that I need to make space for these moments to pause, even when things are hectic. I need to build it in intentionally. If you've been in a season like that too, where you've been juggling a lot, trying to move things forward, but also feeling stretched, I hope this is a little reminder to take care of yourself where you can before life forces you to. Even small moments of rest count. And if you like this video, please subscribe to follow along. I'd love to stay connected with you.